Thank you, Brett. Well, it's a real pleasure to have everyone here this morning. We've got a very tight schedule, and our new events team, Sun and Charity, have been really amazing this year. This is their first time organizing Symposium all by themselves, so it's going to be a great event. I wanted to take some time this morning just to talk about how Liferay itself as an organization is facing change. We've been talking for the last couple of years about digital transformation, about how the availability of technology is leading to both threats and opportunities for your organizations as you look to how to navigate your business in the future. And for many of you who are in the technology space, your roles are really changing. You're going from being folks who take requirements from the business and build something for them to really being trusted advisors and having an equal seat at the table as the business contemplates their future. And I just want to share some of how Liferay has also been going through this process over the last couple of years. Those of you who have been in the Liferay community for a long time know us. You know that we've been celebrating a number of successes over the years. We've been around in the portal space for a long time. And even before we started our company in 2004, we were a burgeoning open source project as early as the year 2000. We're very happy to be powering some of the most diverse set of websites throughout the world, from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation and their Splash Education website, to the HP Partner Portal that you may have heard Ann Anderson speak about a couple of years ago, to a new website in Africa from the Britam Corporation, who's not only running their public website, but also their customer service portal, their partner portals, and 7 other corporate sites throughout the organization. We are, of course, very, very proud of having a great team of over 750 people in 19 countries throughout the world. And most of all, I think we're all very, very excited and happy about having and continuing to build an awesome community with developers, business users, and partners throughout here in North America, Europe, Latin America, and the rest of the world. So it's a great time to be Liferay. I've been along for the ride for the last 14 years as well. And I'm more excited than ever to be a part of what we're building. Now, having said all that, you know, our management team has heard, not just in the last 2 years, but really over the last 5 years, questions from you, questions from customers and partners. What is Liferay doing with the cloud? What about continuous deployment? What are you guys doing with mobile and the Internet of Things? And while we probably aren't yet at this point where we're going to be falling in love with our machines, we're certainly talking to them, and we are definitely being delighted by them. And even if we don't look so far into the technology future, already with our mobile experiences and our web experiences, the level of expectation as far as user experience and helping you to get things done and be productive is higher than ever before. Many of you are probably fielding questions from your management about Docker and containers and virtualization and wondering what Liferay has to say about all these things. And when you consider all of that, despite our success, Liferay starts to look maybe a little bit out of date. Well, I'm here this morning to share with you about some of the ways that we've wrestled with these issues internally and set a roadmap for how our platform is going to evolve in the future so that we will not only be able to continue to give what enterprises need as far as the expected SLAs and the life cycle of enterprise software, which maybe moves more slowly than some of these technologies, but also help all of us navigate into a future where these technologies become very much part of our fabric. So Over the last 2 years, Liferay has, first of all, invested a lot in modularity. Through our work with the OSGI Foundation and the leadership of our software architects, we've done a lot of work to make Liferay a platform that is suitable for modern architectures. What this means simply is that with modularity, you're going to be able to more quickly change the apps you build. What the business requires today and what your company needs to do today to compete might change in 6 to 12 months. And it's no longer enough just to make a change every year or 2 years or 3 years. We need to get to a place where we are evolving our technology as quickly as the business is changing. The second big investment that Liferay is making is into APIs. If I were to describe Liferay's mentality in the first 13 years of our existence, it was, let's have one platform where you build everything from the back end to the front end. Let's make sure you run on any app server or database so that we can run in any on-premise situation. Well, in the future, guess what? Your website that you built on Liferay is not going to be the only way that people need to access your services. There's all manner of front ends, there's all manner of other applications, other services that are going to need to talk to the ones that you build. And so we're evolving the way that Liferay thinks about APIs. Instead of simply thinking about how Liferay is going to consume our APIs internally, we're looking at how to future-proof our APIs so that as things evolve, as the parameters or the service requirements change, you're not going to be stuck with a client that can't handle the evolution. We're designing our APIs to evolve, and maybe more importantly, we're also designing them to be consumed in a headless manner so that, as I showed in the beginning, as the interfaces and the devices that need to talk to your systems multiply, you're going to be able to do that gracefully. And of course, this obviously leads to the corollary that we're going to need to support and embrace more than ever the different kinds of front-end interfaces and technologies that have flooded the marketplace. Any of you who are more of a traditional Java or a back-end developer are probably just inundated, flooded with your web developers saying, oh, I want to use Angular. No, no, now it's React. Oh, now we need to make everything work with NPM. And it can be dizzying and it can be confusing because just as quickly as these technologies become trendy, they seem to be replaced by something else. Liferay, over the last 5 years, has done a lot to really embrace the revolution in front-end technology. If you look at our open source projects, you'll notice that out of 14 different projects, 9 of them are related to front-end and user experience. And so this isn't something new to us, but it's something that we are doubling down on. A lot of the talks that you'll hear over the next 2 days will have to do not only with the technology, but the importance of the experience itself. How to work with designers, how to be more user-centered in your approach. Of course, mobile is also a big and important part of this story. A lot of times we've puzzled over questions like whether we can get away with just a responsive website, whether we need to go full native. One of the talks that we have on this afternoon is about how to build a hybrid and native application using Liferay and our recent developments in screens. We also have people working furiously on Lexicon. This is our user experience language that unifies experience across the different devices and channels that you are building to reach your customers. And so tomorrow at 2:40, Juan, our Director of UX, is going to be talking about that as well. And finally, we wouldn't be a technology company in 2017 without having something to say about the cloud. You've probably heard bits and pieces over the last 18 months about our new cloud platform we deploy. This is something I'm personally very, very excited about. Our leaders, Zeno and Johnny, are here today, and they're going to be sharing about everything they've learned building this new platform for the cloud. If you're familiar with Heroku, Firebase, Amazon Web Services, OpenShift, we believe WeDeploy has a solution that brings the best of those different platforms together into a single offering. And for the business folks in the room, what WeDeploy is simply a way to get your application up and running in production with fewer headaches more quickly than ever. So please do check out these sessions that we have about WeDeploy that are scattered throughout the agenda over the next couple of days. Of course, we understand that as enterprises, you probably also have your existing relationships with different cloud providers, or you're just simply trying to figure out how Liferay is going to work with virtualization and container technology. And so we do also have a couple of key sections to cover those topics. So putting this all together, all of these different seemingly unrelated topics and sessions that we have, I wanted to summarize our vision for how the platform's going to evolve in the future. With a rich set of modular backend services that can be easily consumed and assembled through evolvable APIs, you're going to be able to not only build websites on Liferay, but you're also going to be able to support all of the different interfaces that are coming into our universes. And we're going to make this whole thing cloud ready so that you can deploy it anywhere you want with full redundancy, scalability, and reliability. For the business, what this means is that you're going to go from having new ideas, new needs from the business, to the actual services, the actual interfaces, and the actual production environments more quickly than ever. Now, internally at Liferay, I often have this debate with our engineering and product teams that all of these platforms and frameworks are great, but at the end of the day, what we need to serve our customers is features. And so I'm very happy to share some of the key features that we've been working on and will be preparing for release in 2018. If you're familiar with Liferay, our WCM has been very portal-driven and portlet-based for the last 10 years or so. And now in 2017, everyone is using some combination of HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and the way that websites are being developed is completely different from what it was back when we started. And so we're looking at a full revamp of our WM. It's not something we're ready to present yet, but if you catch any of the product managers or our VP of Engineering, Jorge, he'll be able to talk to you about some of the ideas we have. And I believe we may even cover it with some of our customer advisory board members in the next couple of days. We also have a lot going on with Liferay Forms. So Forms started out as just a simple way to gather data, input, and have it submitted into a central database. But we saw more and more business users among our customers treating Forms as another kind of lightweight application interface. If you've been to other industry conferences, you may have heard of no-code or low-code platforms. Salesforce has an app cloud. There's a company called Zudi that has something similar. And through a combination of a rich Forms design interface, the ability to connect data sources, and the ability to define workflows, we really see Forms evolving into a way of building simple business applications very, very quickly. And then finally, we're very, very happy to share with you that in 2018, Liferay will be adding to our portfolio a digital commerce server. We made the transition from being a horizontal portal to entering the digital experience platform market in 2016. And one of the things we saw was that portal and content and commerce functionality was really converging in many ways to provide a single platform that addresses the very different but related needs that businesses have when it comes to customer experiences, and commerce is a big part of that. And so our lead engineer on that project, Marco Leo, is here, and he's going to be sharing about that as well. Okay, so that's the technology. What about making real transformation happen? Because that's why we're here, right? That's our theme for this year, and I want to explain a bit of what Liferay means by that. The past 3 years, we've seen a lot of noise from the marketing side. Digital marketing, Gartner said the CMO is going to outspend the CIO. And for those of you who are technical, maybe you've even seen a shift in your organization towards supporting marketing needs. And at Liferay, we also embrace that. We realize that through things like having a single view of the customer and managing campaigns, you can do a better job of supporting marketing efforts. But we also saw that if you really want to fundamentally change how the business works, you can't just stop at those front-end experiences. You have to deeply connect your systems. You have to digitize your processes. You have to rethink your strategy. And so even though we believe marketing is a really important part of that, we want to go further and we want to go deeper than that in transforming the entire organization end to end. And so you're going to be hearing stories from some of our customers about how they're doing that. I just want to highlight a couple of them for you. Smith & Nephew is a medical device company. They are a key provider of hip replacement, knee replacement, these sorts of things. And they have built a digital learning platform for their surgeons because they found that one of the biggest determinants on outcomes for patients was how well the surgeons understood the parts and how well they could actually manage the surgery from end to end. And so this resulted in a significant reduction in training time, as well as a greater sense of confidence, both from the surgeons and the teams that support them. We're also going to hear from Spire Energy, who have taken, after a series of acquisitions and mergers throughout the Southeast, they've taken a number of existing systems, brought them together. Of course, they've unified the experience on the front end, addressing all of the different channels. But they've also made it possible for customers to start and stop their service, to make payments, as well as building in a fraud detection system. And then they've also had to deal with multiple different customer care systems from different vendors being connected into the same front-end experience for their customers. And so that's going to be a great story to check out. And then finally, before we introduce our first story of the morning, I want to really give a shout out to the Austin Angels. Susan Ramirez has been working in the Austin area here locally, serving foster kids and doing everything that she can with her team to improve the experience that foster children have as they enter the system and deal with what can be a very traumatic experience of being taken from their homes and taken into foster care. We talk about transformation, but the impact that they've had on the lives of these kids is truly compelling. And so I invite you not only to stay for her keynote tomorrow afternoon, but also to participate in the activity that we've got for you. We're going to be donating $100 to Austin Angels for every one of you who participates in the Halloween candy drive. So please do that.